Don't do it, bro. Don't do it, I'm fishing! Oh! Today we're gonna be doing a review of Craftopia, a game that's been in early access for like 20 years. It's funny that this game still isn't finished, and yet Pal World, which is made by the same developers, is right around the corner. The thing is, Craftopia, if I'm being perfectly honest, used to suck. I hated this game when I first played it, just because it was kind of a crappy version of Zelda or Genshin. But more recently, they ended up adding a seamless world update. Beforehand, you basically would have to progress through one secular biome and then you would end up going through a loading screen to get to the next area. But now the whole world is just all connected in one. It still progresses as you go from one biome to another because the next biome over is gonna have enemies that are just too strong for you or whatever. But it makes the scope of the game a lot more impressive and fun. If I could summarize this game for you guys, I would say it's Genshin Impact Lite. Ironically, it has a lot more features and a lot more going for it than billion-dollar juggernaut game Genshin Impact. Like, there's features in Craftopia that I wish were in Genshin, and despite the fact that this game is as jank as it is, because it really is jank, it's a ton of fun. And at the end of the day, that's what counts. So the basic progression of the game is that you're going to end up repairing the lookout tower in each of the biomes. This tower is going to be where you'll advance through the ages. So you'll start at copper, you'll go to iron, you'll go to gold, etc. But as you go through each of these ages, it doesn't stay restricted to a medieval period. Like, you literally get access to firearms and tanks later on. Now, what's both good and bad about Craftopia is it does a lot of things, but it doesn't do anything particularly well. The combat is really fast-paced and a lot of fun, and there's a lot of different weapon variety. I wouldn't say that any of them feel like AAA quality or anything. There's an underlying level of jankness to all of the different mechanics of the combat, but having so many options definitely helps. On top of that, exploration gets easier because as you progress through the game, you can invest into different skills that will give you like double jumps or, you know, less stamina consumption for climbing or gliding, or even just give you invulnerability frames when you jump. They truly have this design the character the way that you want to play mentality, and I appreciate it. I think one of the best aspects about this game is the resource gathering, and that's difficult for me to say because I personally like combat. That is where I'm most comfortable, is combat and grinding and seeing numbers go up. But what I mean when I say that the resource gathering in Craftopia is great is that it doesn't overscale to pad the gameplay out. So when you're getting to the later portion of the game and you're gathering gold, you need the same amount of gold to craft all of the gold gear that you did back when you needed copper. A big issue that a lot of these games do, including one of my favorites, Valheim, is that as you progress further in the game, you're required to gather a lot more of the standard resources in order to craft the new items, which means that there's a lot of busy work with resource management, which I don't like. The fact that this game doesn't have that bottlenecking you makes it all the more exciting because it means that I can just focus on the fun part, which is exploration and combat. Now, the biggest sell of this game is not going to end up being any of the jank stuff that I showed you guys. It's most of all the fact that it's multiplayer, and you can actually play this game, believe it or not, with up to 64 people in the same world. I would love to experience that one time in my life, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And the crazy thing is that this game is entirely playable in co-op. You don't have to kick people to activate the Statue of the Seven, stupid Genshin. The thing is, you got games like Genshin Impact that rip off Zelda but change enough of it to make it its own unique entity. Craftopia is like, nah dog, we got bokoblins up in here. Like, just straight up enemies from Zelda. I don't know how Nintendo hasn't sued them. So in the end, I would recommend this game. I would give the review score, let's say like a 2 or a 3. Personally speaking, I actually really enjoy this game and can easily recommend it, but the reason why I'm scoring it so low is just because it is quite janky.